Yeah. Yo, what time the plane leaving? Right. See you at the airport. Hey. I'm leaving on the next plane. I don't know when I'll be back again. Kiss me and smile for me. Tell me that you'll wait for me. Hold me like you know I'll never go. Even though you know I will, I'm a traveling man, moving through places, space and time.
Hello everyone, welcome back to my channel, Traveling Gunn. My name is Thomas. Today's vlog is just going to be about my travel tips that I have for non-revving, the things that I do when I do go to different countries and different places. Travel tip number one, I would tell anybody, pick 2 places that you would like to go, and because you always need a backup just in case your number 1 doesn't always go through, because with being a flight attendant, we don't have to technically pay for a flight per se internationally, but the thing is that's flying standby, so you never know what might happen. The flights might get booked up, so there's no seats available. So you need a backup plan just in case your first falls through for you. Second travel tip I would tell you is to look at routes on how to get to wherever it is that you're trying to go. Say for instance, let's just say France, for Paris, France, for example. Just go online, look to see what routes that you would have to take, or even backup routes, because like I said again, your first might always fall through. So always have a second and third option to get where you want to go. I'm gonna say this and be honest with you, traveling non-rev should be an extreme sport because it is very, very, very stressful. I say that because you can pay for an Airbnb or a hotel and something might happen with the flight that it might cancel. You might not be able to get on, and now you're stuck trying to figure out another way to get to where you're trying to go so you don't lose out on any money. I haven't personally per se done that or lost any money traveling. I've pretty much gotten where I needed to go. Third travel tip I will tell you is this. Once you find the route that you're going to go to wherever it is that you're going, look for transportation. My advice is to do public transportation as far as trains and buses. Taxis and Ubers or whatever have you can get a little bit more on the expensive side, as much as it's not as much as riding the bus. And in most countries, the buses are more efficient and trains are more efficient than what they are here in the United States. That's just from my experience in some of the places that I've been to. But it's totally up to you, but I'm just giving you my tidbit advice of what I do. But yeah, from other people's experiences, taxis can be expensive, and also Ubers can be expensive. Sometimes it's just best to just walk sometimes, or like I said, take the train. Third travel tip, to find things to do wherever it is that you're going. What I usually do is I go on Google and I'll search, things to do in France. And there's a list of things that'll come up, in France. I kind of read, go through them, look at them. Okay, write it down to see what I'll be interested in doing. Second thing I do is I come to YouTube and I just type in things to do in France, and trust me, anywhere that you want to go in this world, I'm pretty sure someone has made a YouTube video about it and things to do there in whatever country or city that you want to go to. Now, what I usually do is I kind of look at a few videos, because after a while, majority of the people do the same exact thing. So what I say do is just get your pen and paper ready, write down the things when you're watching these videos, write down the things that you would like to do and go from there. The fourth thing I would say to do is places to eat or food to try in these different cities. Now for me per se, there are 2 people that are my go-to guys that I go to look at their YouTube videos for places to eat, because they haven't let me down so far. But I do look at other people as well, just to see where they have eaten. And like as I stated, pretty much majority of everyone kind of does the same things when they go to these different cities. The fifth option is finding somewhere to stay, whether it's Airbnb, hotel, hostel, I don't know, shared living space, whatever you're comfortable with, whatever is in your budget. Now, for me, as a flight attendant with my company, we do get certain discounts on hotels. So I usually fluctuate between Airbnb and hotel. What I do is I just kind of look and see what the prices is for Airbnb first. Then I kind of look around with the different hotels on the website, and it sounds like it's a lot, but it really isn't a lot of work to do if you really think about it. And just put it like this: the amount of time that you spend on your phone doing social media is probably the same amount of time that you will spend researching somewhere where you would like to go. So that's my fifth tip as far as Airbnb, hotel, whichever fits into your budget. That's what I usually go with. My travel tip number 6, the length that I usually stay in most places is no more than 3 total days. And the reason why, and I know a lot of people look at me crazy when I say, the reason why I say 3 total days is because as a flight attendant, you can always go back there at any time throughout the year. I've been to Tokyo twice this year. So you don't have to see everything all at one time. And if you're trying to stay on a budget and be cost efficient at the same time, you don't want to stay a week, because that means you're going to spend more money on a hotel, Airbnb. You're going to spend more money on food and transportation. So 3 total days, 2 to 3 total days, I would say is the max that you would need. I stayed in Tokyo for 2 whole days, and I saw everything that I wanted to see at that particular time, and I didn't feel rushed at all. Later on, when I was just going through YouTube, I saw something that someone else did in Tokyo that made me want to go back to do, because it wasn't on my list when I first originally went. But 2 to 3 days max if you're trying to be cost efficient within your budget and you're not trying to spend a lot of money. Excuse me. And another thing I would say this as well, if you're not trying to spend a lot of money, you're trying to get more bang for your buck, I would say Europe would not be the place to go, because the euro is higher than the dollar. I would try to go South America, Asia, somewhere over there where the dollar is more than theirs. But Europe, you're gonna get less. So let's say, for instance, just today's exchange rate, if you exchange your money for 100 US dollars to euros, you're only gonna get 75 euros. So, I mean, it's up to you what you wanna do, but I'm just saying, if you want your money to go a little bit further, South America, Central America, Mexico, Asia is probably your best bet to make your money go a little bit further than it would be Europe. Now, nothing against Europe at all. I'm just saying, for you want to get the more for your money, those are the places that you would like to go versus Europe. Travel tip number 7 is the most important, especially as a non-rev flight attendant. Don't always look for a direct route home. You just want to get back into the United States, and you figure the rest out when you get to the United States, because a lot of times most times it's gonna be harder to get a direct route back to your city. Sometimes, depending on the time of the year, depending on peak season and everything like that. But what I usually do, one time when I came back from Tokyo the second time through Minneapolis, all the flights from Minneapolis to Atlanta was pretty much oversold, or I wasn't gonna get on. So what I eventually did was I went from Minneapolis to DC, and then DC to Atlanta. My airline from DC has a flight every hour, on the hour, well, not on the hour exactly, but every hour to Atlanta. So I went to a place that had more flights, and the availability was there for me to go. So I would say that's my travel tip number 7. just get back to the United States, figure out the rest once you get here, because you can't do anything in another country, especially if you don't have international calling, and you don't want to spend your money, use a lot of money burning up cell phone time in another country. So just get back to the United States, figure the rest out when you get back into the United States, because it's easier to figure out in the United States because of more routes, because most places, most airlines, certain countries, they only have 1 or 2 flights a day. With the exception of Europe, they may have a little bit more flights a day. So just get back to the United States. And my 8th and final travel tip, I believe, yeah, it'll probably be the final. Make sure if your cell phone plan doesn't have international calling or data, make sure you either get it or turn your phone on airplane mode, because you don't want to be surprised and you get a $500 cell phone bill because you didn't put your phone on airplane mode. I'm with Sprint. I've been with them for 10 years. I don't have to pay for international data or text messaging. It's automatically included in the plan. So I don't really have to worry about putting my phone on airplane mode or anything like that. So that's just for, Sprint. But those are my 8 travel tips that I have for, flight attendants, especially with a lot of new flight attendants who are just now coming to the job, coming out of training. This is just some travel tips for you. You can do your own research and try to figure it out yourself. But me, I think I pretty much did a lot of route searching when I had to sit reserve at the airport and wasn't getting used. So I had 8 hours to just click around on the internet and kind of did my research. But yeah, those are my 8 travel tips for non-revenue flying. It can also be for revenue flying too. The difference is you have a confirmed seat because you're paying for a ticket. Now, if I have to pay for a ticket, then I would stay a little bit longer than 3 or 4 days. But but this is strictly, mostly for non-revs, for non-revenue flying here. But thank you again for subscribing, watching, supporting. Make sure you comment, all that jazz. And I'm finna leave you with a quote. Every situation in life is temporary. So when life is good, make sure you enjoy it fully. And when life is not so good, remember that it will not last forever and better days are on the way. That's my time. Thank you for watching. Y'all have a good night.